Yeah, that was a great conversation. I just recently had a listen to it again. It was really excellent to chat with you back then. And yeah, lots been happening over the last 12 months. Looking forward to chatting today as well.
Yeah, but now you're very much focused on the trucks, no?
Yeah, that's right. Around just over 12 months ago now, I started a new company called New Energy Transport. And I co-founded that with a guy named Frederick Powson.
Hmm.
Frederick has a fascinating background, but he's the former head of innovation for Scania Trucks, which is a
Hmm.
big Swedish truck manufacturer.
Yep.
And yeah, so he's been involved in several major heavy electric trucking pilot programs in Sweden. He lives in Sydney now. And we decided that there's a big opportunity in the heavy electric trucking space that nobody else really seems to be jumping on. So we formed the company last year, and yeah, we've been busy with the team developing it since then.
Scania is a big company, of course, but are you looking at manufacturing in Australia, assembling in Australia, or promoting in Australia?
Actually, none of those. We're looking at it being a trucking company. So we're going to have trucks, and our product is going to be freight. So we're going to be offering zero emission road freight to transport buyers, but we're going to do it at the same cost as diesel freight. So our business model is about vertically integrating on-site energy production, the wholesale electricity market, and operating in a way that enables us to really tap into the huge amount of low-cost solar that's coming onto the Australian grid every day. Yeah, by being creative with the way we use energy, we think we can actually reduce the overall cost of heavy trucking. So yeah, it's fascinating to learn about the trucking industry, and I've learned a lot from Frederick over the last 12 months. But it's interesting when you look at what's been happening so far. We've seen a move to electric last mile delivery vehicles, but these vehicles are only doing 100 kilometers a day and moving maybe 5 tons at a time. So the energy cost, the diesel cost of those operations isn't the major cost. The major cost is the wage of the driver. But when you look at the heavy road freight, secondary freight, primary freight, line haul, some of these operations, the diesel cost makes up 40% of the cost structure. So it's actually a great use case for electrification. And that's what we've been working on since June last year.
Yeah, but with automation and everything else, self-driving will go to the next space. You're already in there, right?
Automation is another thing that's coming down the line, but I think that the big opportunity is in energy cost. Electric vehicles are, as you and most of your listeners know, electric vehicles are capable of operating at a lower cost than diesel or petrol powered vehicles. And that's even more so the case with heavy electric trucks. Like in Australia in particular, so Australia is the second most road freight dependent country on earth on a per capita basis. And we have extremely heavy road freight here in comparison to Europe or the US. So there's more trucks, and the trucks are running heavier and they're using more energy. So yeah, we believe there's a huge opportunity to tap into Australia's low cost solar to get the overall cost of trucking down and to make it zero emission. And to put it into perspective, how important kind of heavy trucking is, uh, heavy articulated trucks make up around 3% of all commercial vehicles in Australia, but they account for 80% of the ton kilometers. So if you can electrify just those 3% of heavy trucks, you can have a huge impact on emissions, because there's obviously a strong correlation between emissions and energy use.
So you're saying 3% of vehicles contribute to 80% of ton kilometer, right?
That-
And now that all the fossil fuel cell cars and hydrogen trucks are finally saw the light they were supposed to see, so the confusion is out, right?
It's still difficult because, all right, let me throw some other numbers out. 64-ton B double truck that's going up and down the Hume Highway between Sydney and Melbourne. A single truck, say that truck is pulling 64 tons, it's doing 200,000 kilometers a year. One single truck is going to burn through $2 million of diesel over 10 years. You buy the truck for 250,000 and then you spend $2 million on energy. So it's a very low capex, high OPEX operation. Whereas electrified trucking is the opposite. You have to pay a bit more for the truck and you have to pay more for the infrastructure. but then you can cut a huge amount of that energy cost out. And we think 70 or 80% of that energy cost can be reduced. So at a fundamental level, the electric trucking is capable of operating at a lower cost than diesel trucking, but it's the existing industry business model that's making it difficult to access that or to enable that.